What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the 2022 project by K-Flock. Basically, this product is called the D.O.A tape care package, and it came out in the late fall of 2022. So the aim of this product here is just the fact that K-Flock particularly kind of had like a come up that was relatively short within the pitch. He was trying to bring forth like some new era drill, very similar to Pop Smoke, 5E04, and folks like that within that particular fair of just like 2020s drill, some of that particular aspects about it, but particularly got caught up with like some litigation as far as those pitches kind of happened throughout like the early 2020s, which has kind of sabotaged his career from really blossoming the way it probably could have. Now, he's managed to get a number of rumblers. He dropped several singles that had like certifications, gold and platinum certifications from the RIAA. One particular song off this care package edition of the D.O.A tape. I reviewed the D.O.A tape back in February 2025, but the pitch behind it is, I'm going to get to this one as well because it's an expansion pack to it. It has 10 new songs, very similar to how Pop Smoke had an expanded edition of his Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon album that hit. I mean, the difference between like 2020's expanded editions is you don't just get like 2 or 3 or 4 new songs, you get like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. So this warrants like the concept of reviewing further type ones within the pitch because it does have 10 new songs in here in addition to the 8 songs that were on the original. So it's a good type fare. I'm not going to review the original 8 songs that were on that particular album again, but I am going to review the 10 new songs in here, and they're pretty wickedly solid with an aspect behind it. This project's going to get like a light 9 out of 10 within the pitch behind it, some excellent type appeal. But the most popular song off this album would be Shake It, which has Dougie B and Cardi B on here with some pitches like that, and a cat named Bori, or a folk named Bori 300. Now, to this moment, this is K-Flock's highest charting song within some of those type pitches. So it's just kind of the conduct as far as saying. Now, this is the only real song off this product I don't recommend. So this is kind of a misnomer as far as my particular opinion of it goes. This has a flip on this particular song. If you remember the song Belly Dancer Bonanza by Akon, a single that he put out in 2005 off his first album, it kind of has like a sample of that particular song, but it just did not handle it that particularly well. I'll go ahead and just talk about this song just to get the song I don't recommend out of the way, because the other, out of the 10 songs that are new on this product, this is the only one I don't full bound recommend. Now, there is one almost song on here, but other than that, I recommend all. I recommend 9 out of 10 of the new songs. But Shake It just didn't really nail it. The sample, normally that particular song, I really thoroughly appreciate the original Belly Dancer song by Akon as far as those pairs can happen, but this particular one, it just had the sample too quick on there. It just was not the real aspect of something that probably needed to happen on there. I think it was trying to aim for like a drill type tune and something like a quick pace kind of nightclub setting, something within the aspect of having like a quick kind of speedy kind of cruise around, something like that within the aspect of this, more quick times. But the sample is just repeated too oftenly. It's just the sample loop was just probably repeated too oftenly on the song. I think if it had been spruced throughout the song, just like at certain moments where Akon's like, hey ladies, drop it down, you know, just saying that every now and then as opposed to just going through the same loop just as that being the whole verse, I think it probably would have had a little bit different with the tone behind it, but just didn't really nail it. It just was not like as key as like what probably needed to be with the aspect of just having that particular flip of a song, so it just didn't nail it that well. But particularly folks did like it. It's a song that went platinum within some of those type pitches. Like I said, it's pretty quick, just with an aspect of how it particularly kind of goes. Just basically takes that aspect and just has it in like kind of like a drill type fury about it. So it's just kind of the aspect, but I just didn't see as much of like connect with it as far as what's first gonna happen, but I look after it. So I look after just in the tone. But yeah, these other songs are pretty excellent on here. Just to get to some of these, just kind of within the pitch. So like some of these were like there were at least 4 other singles off this particular product. I'm just gonna talk about these in the normal order, just because the cost of some of these didn't really chart, so it's just gonna appeal. But so the almost song off this project is Ain't No Love. And this is kind of an awake but dreary kind of evening embrace kind of get here. Just a basic drill pounder, I'd say. It's one of the more stock type ones. It's pretty similar to like Geeked Up and Out of Luck, some of those particular type ones, and a little bit of like FTO, some of those type pitches with an aspect of it here, but it's just not as spicy as normal with an aspect behind it. I mean, it definitely works in the same fashion as FTO as far as being like some good just after moments, day after moments, just kind of the embrace of getting towards the concept of it. I definitely feel like the conduct of just being energized, some of that particular flavor, just hop into a pitch just like that, having some good spark. But I look after, I don't know, there's like some background vocals on this particular song that kind of detract from it a minor bit. It's just kind of the concept. I think is just intended, I don't know if it was aiming for like a sort of soulful type pitch, but this kind of the almost kind of groan like aspect of some of those vocals on that song was just not as affable as like the full boundness. I feel like the instrumental just really probably carried that song a lot further than probably within the aspect of it. It felt like maybe that was felt maybe like the additional background vocals might have enhanced, like in terms of making it more of like a smoke ready type one with the pitch, or just something something to zone out to. But it's just kind of the pitch. It's not as much of a ferocious bite as Full Bound, but it is a nice one within the pitch. I do appreciate this song enough within the aspect. It just probably is going to take more within a relative getting used to within the pitch behind. I look after it. I like the concept of just getting like this evening embrace, just kind of for the pitch of going for like Burger King and Arby's runs, some of those type fairs within the aspect of it, just kind of having the tone of just like the good, this kind of 6 o'clock p.m., 5 o'clock p.m. breeze type feelings within the aspect of it. So it's just within the pitch. I could see this song growing on me more as far as what's first going to happen within the aspect of just adapting to it, but it's just kind of the concept of just questioning if I were to listen to this 5 or 6 or 8 months from now, 15 months from now, how much the adaptability would kind of be towards within the spark behind it. But I look after it's enough to have that relative connect, but supposing I do fuck with this song a lot heavier, I would raise the score of this album to like a 9.5 out of 10 within the pitch. But if I don't, it would be I think it's a higher. I'd say 8.5 out of 10. You would think that would be like an 8.75 or something like that. I feel like this song is affable enough, but I'm probably gonna give the score of this album currently like a 9 out of 10, just a light 9 out of 10. Because to be honest, I do like this song more than a little bit, but it's just kind of the concept as far as saying 8.5 out of 10. I mean, I would like if it would have been 8 out of 10 songs I recommended, it would have gotten an 8.5 because I do connect with all these other 8 songs within the pitch because it's good enough fashion. But it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying that extra almost song, not recommending all 10 songs kind of the pitch, where it's kind of the aspect where it wouldn't. It's just a short enough quantity that you'd have to say within the aspect of what songs would be missing before you would not give it a 10. So it's kind of the pitch as far as saying that 9 out of 10 songs I recommend probably still wouldn't be a 10 because there's just not enough songs. But it'd be a 9.5 if I do wind up recommending that song more later. But right now it's just going to be a solid 9. But I look after it. So yeah, there's some ones on here, just typical kind of drill. This is not as fierce as it was in 2021. I will say the aspect behind it, I feel like the original D.O.A. tape was just a lot more shrill and biting with the aspect. A lot of this just feels more like a victory lap, kind of just more pleasure cruise type aspects within the time. I feel like it's still pretty relatively fair. It's ahead of a lot of things that are around, but it just doesn't have the same venom that it had in 2021, at least in terms of like the fury behind it. I feel like Geeked Up is a quality one that at least attempts some of that on here, but I mean, I do recommend this song. Like I said, it's going to get a 9 out of 10, but it's just the pitch as far as saying I think the original album from 2021 is just going to have the more fierceness, but it's like a blurred out, Geeked Up's like a blurred out and quick night shift crusade is going to get here. Jury, but definitely ready for like a blitz night as far as what's first going to happen. Good combination song with Gucci Mane, but it's just typical kind of 2020 drill within the aspect behind it. You know, Gucci Mane's been on songs like this with folks like Pooh Shiesty and some of those type folks within the particular aspects behind. So it's just that same typical type format, just swapping out K Flock for Pooh Shiesty. It's the same sort of format here, but this works for like the aspect behind it. It's kind of a jury type one. It's pretty similar to like Ain't No Love, but just a little bit fiercer within the concept, but just a little bit more pounding kind of cruise rounds. Out of Luck is a quality one, just within that same fashion. It's like a good snappy and fierce combo with Geeked Up. Like I was saying, good, definitely dark flex music as far as what's first gonna happen. It's like some stock night shift drill riding as far as what's pitch gonna happen. So there's a number of songs off this project. Definitely your Alkalade and your just overall accommodation for like cruise outs just with the pitch behind it. Plenty of good products at just getting crunk pitches like that, just amidst like some whip kind of shine and pitches like that. Just really appreciating vehicle centric indulgence as far as this pitch can happen just within the tone behind it. There's some ones on here. Another one that kind of has that aspect within a sense would be FTO. This is a good nice one here. This has hell bass thump, I'd say just a dark and trill kind of stunt night, I'd say with an aspect just of it. Just some grand embrace from like usual danger as far as those pitches kind of go. The thing about FTO is it just feels like a good kind of aspect of like relative makeshift on here. There are some ones like Brotherly Love Part 2, Ain't No Love, and FTO that kind of have the pitch, and Make a Movie's kind of like that as well, that do have like a relative aspect of trying to bring it to more kind of radio shine and coming up for air a little bit with an aspect of having a little bit more commercialness about it. Now I think this is a good aspect here because I like the concept, but once again, similar to Pop Smoke and Pooh Shiesty, some of those type folks, is kind of sabotage the aspect of what he was attempting to do with this particular genre, and just kind of got brought to a screeching halt just because the aspect that it just didn't have the tone as far as being able to because of things, litigation, things like that within the aspects as far as those first kind of have. So it's just the pitch as far as saying, but FTO is like a good, nice one. This really feels like this is really shrill within the aspect behind, but this nails the appeal. Just something to kind of listen to after tasks are done, some of those type pitches. It just like that 545, 615 type altitude for it as far as saying, all right, gonna figure out how things are gonna happen from here as far as those pitches kind of go. Just, fuck the BS, some pitches like that, just kind of getting past like the aspect that just like, all right, it's time for simple stuff. Go pick up like a Domino's pizza pizza, just some with the aspect, just like Stunt Night, or just going out to get hella shots at the bar, some pitches like that, go find some BCs, pitches like that, just within the tone. But this works for that. Brotherly Love Part 2 is a nice one here. Now, this is a different change of pace. Most of this is kind of more darker, just moments with like the aspect of the 2020s drill within the aspect of what that was trying to develop. But this is like a nice switch up, I'd say, just a breezy kind of 2000s mixtape like soul within the pitch behind it, just a feel good kind of Deshaun within the pitch, just something that Pop Smoke can kind of do on like his more radio ready type numbers within the pitch behind. Just nails the aspect of just being able to get towards it. But I really like the after effect of this particular song. Just a good kind of balmy type cruise within the aspect, just different. So yeah, I would say it just is a little bit more pep to your step within the aspect, like the tones of Brotherly Love Part 2. Just the aspect like some good, nice, just airy kind of cruise runs within the pitch behind. Just hair in the wind type pitch, some of that type of just getting some errands done, like a more just balmy type sense, a good type pitch for that. But it is kind of in a drill fashion, so it has the thump on there as far as this pitch kind of happens. It's just a good sound system type crank as far as those pitches kind of go along with this. So it's just kind of conduct circa 2022, 2021, some of those type fairs, but this kind of pitch, it is something that just is not the normal kind of shrill October, September type music within the fair. So good type tone. Another single off this product but didn't chart was Make a Movie. This like a piercing kind of drill rollout music tone, getting like a pop radio grab flavor. I'd have to say about this one. This definitely reminds of Pop Smoke as far as those pitches. Definitely reminds of Pop Smoke as far as those pitches gonna have when you think of some of those songs like What You Know About Love, some of those particular type of appeals, within the aspect of it. So it's good type, normal kind of gliss, but like most of this product is kind of the product of just kind of being more in motion. There are a few songs on this product. I like the aspect of a little bit of just like neighborhood type moments. For the most part, this is not as much snack run and gas station run type music within the pitch, but a lot of this is just kind of the product of this is your breezy kind of errand song. This is our makeshift kind of drift song. These are the typical kind of stunt songs, pitches like that. So this is kind of the product of it. But Make a Movie is just kind of that same radio type appeal, just amidst like a commerce just within a normal type format. Just kind of more bells in mind within the aspects as far as what's going to happen. Just easy kind of one for like a little bit more kind of just popish kind of fizzy type flavor within the pitch behind, but it keeps that particular just not necessarily drill within a haunting sense, but just kind of aspect just like some thump about it. So this has pretty relevant type sound in the 2020s, so nails that appeal. D.O.A is a quality one. It's like a glared and morose kind of extra time brooding kind of get within the aspects here. Just the vanilla kind of new era drill stunt tune kind of have for the pitch behind it, very localish. There's a series of songs on here that do have like some neighborhood crawls about them within the pitch behind it. Just kind of within the pitch, it just like easy kind of cruise around pitches like that, or just also the aspect of like Taco Bell runs, some of those particular type of appeals. D.O.A is one that kind of has like that particular localish. D.O.A is just one that has that particular localish type aspect within the tone behind it as far as what's first going to happen. So I would say Dealership is a quality one as well. Now, this is probably one of my more favorite ones off this particular product as far as the hauntiness of it goes. It's like a solemn kind of haunting afterthought. This neighborhood crawls kind of get within the aspect here, but it's real spruced up within the pitch. So it's just kind of typical type fashion, just getting things like lighters, pitches like that. Some of those Ferris just has some real snazz about it. So it's just the product of getting something that you would have gotten like the 2010s, like 2013, 2016, like that typical kind of trap music, just in more drill type format. This is basically like snack run type music, just more spruced up, just some real snazz about it. So just looking a little bit more spiffy within the product of it, just something for that particular fair. Just these particular moments are kind of sparse on this product, but it still has the aspect of just being able to nail these appeals. So just some good product, just some of those just haunting kind of afterthought type music for neighborhood crawls. I'd say Don't Trip is another one that's just like that. Now this is a good aspect for like some definite kind of just around the residential type fairs, like some good, this like a good after hours tune for some smokage. I'd say here, smoke a few. Haven't talked about it. Haven't talked about that as full bound on this product, but songs like Dealership, Don't Trip, D.O.A, FTO, Ain't No Love, some of these type ones. There's actually plenty of smoke filled type moments on here within the pitch, but it's just kind of the product as far as saying that. And this is, if you are, this depends upon the fashion as to how you're rolling out. If you got multiple folks with you rolling out, it's kind of within the pitch, but a lot of this is just more stunt type fashion where you are going to have to be adaptable to be able to cruise around. So it's just in the pitch whether or not you're smoking while cruising, and just the pitch how that particularly goes. But there are some neighborhood type ones. I would definitely say Don't Trip is like some villa music, just with more residential in mind, just a personal kind of writing, I'd say, within the pitch. This is kind of one that just has the aspect of like just kind of a moody type song within the pitch. Just kind of one that's just doesn't feel as much like social within the aspect as far as step up. It's just kind of the product of just like that typical kind of just like moroseness that you would get from someone like Tupac or Tech Nine or Eminem, just within the product, just like a ride around that just is kind of more in like neighborhood type fashion. So that happens to be the product about this album. So yeah, this album is going to get like a light 9 out of 10. Now, I look after it, just to say within the fashion, I think for the most part, I would probably say that I probably would adapt the song Ain't No Love as far as those pitches can happen. So probably later on, the score could get like a 9.5, just depending upon what happens within the pitch. But I'd probably say it's going to get a solid 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 is pretty. 8.5 songs I recommend out of 10 is pretty good within that pitch. I look after it. The social score I'll probably give, I don't know, that's kind of tricky. I look after here the fact that the lead single, the highest charting song off this product, was not as chart appeal, and then between that, his sabotage kind of affability, just because he has his prison sentence and pitches like that, just not being able to put out music, and just the conduct of like the standard caught upness of what happens. I'd probably say the social score might be like a 9.25 because it does have the stunt type moments on here. I think within the pitch, as far as saying it has some good type appeal, but this, to my knowledge, minus like the EP he dropped in 2024, there's not tons of product that's really coming out with it. Maybe I give the social score like a 9.5. I'll give the social score like a 9.5 out of 10 because the blistering appeal is on here. It does have these stunt type moments. Not a ton of real going to like dance clubs pitches like that, apart from the song Shake It, which is really not that affable within the pitch. But I just look after here, just being able to say it does have plenty of good, vehicle accolades pitches like that, just between like the Breeze of Brotherly Love Part 2, and some of those type moments, and Make a Movie, some of those type appeals, and then like the makeshift type appeal of Ain't No Love and FTO, the stunt typeness of Geeked Up and Out of Luck, and then like the Neighborhood Crawls, a Dealership, and Don't Trip, some of those type ones in D.O.A. So within pitches, just saying it has enough affability on this project, good snappy type tone to be able to get here. There's a lot of dark shroudedness that does try to adapt the drill type genre. It's just kind of the pitch as far as saying this. I guess it's just a minor complaint that the Shake It single just didn't hit as heavily, and then just the pitch that it's just the fact that the litigation's kind of caught up. So it's for the most part it's more successful within the aspect. I just think it's just kind of the concept that it's just the usual kind of review gruntings as far as those first can happen. So just 9.5 I'd say within the aspect. But I look after here. So in terms of the future, like yeah, K-Flock did put out like an EP in 2024. We'll have to get to that one as far as what's going to happen. This is like a virtual classic for the 2020s. I would say within the impact here as far as the aspect's going to go. Most of these singles are nailed pretty well. It's a pretty fun type project as well, just to say that on top of this kind of the product. I mean, the aspect behind it is not as quite designated within the pitch, just because the caught upness doesn't necessarily have as much. This is not as much of an indulgent type album. It's kind of the pitch of just being a little bit more fleeting within the aspect of just not quite as. There's a word I'm looking for here. It's just kind of looking ahead more. Like this album is a looking ahead type product, not so much like in moments of like, I mean, it has this stunt type appeal, definitely has the pizzazz like this money and the accolades and the pitches like that, but in terms of the conduct of being more indulgent, kind of enjoying some of these times in rock on type mentalities, pitches like that, it's just kind of in quicker motion within the fare behind it. So this is kind of the fare as far as the pitch behind. It's like it just feels kind of more preoccupied type music within the pitch as far as like the conduct of it, which kind of has to do with like his caught upness with what was going on. It's kind of the pitch. It is fun type music, but it's just the aspect that a lot of these drill type rappers in the new era kind of get sabotaged just within the pitch. But just say in terms of future, that's the concept behind it. So social score 9.5, standard score 9 out of 10. So I look after here. But yeah, K Flock does have more projects to get to. We'll get to some of these within the pitch behind that, but this is like a virtual classic here.